Welcome to Before Floor, the pregame edition of Five on the Floor, brought to you by the Five Reasons Sports Network. I'm your host, Jonathan, aka Three Piece Combo. Today we're joined by a couple of our normal guests. We're joined by Mateo Mayorga, and we're joined by Timay, who's joining us from the Bahamas. So appreciate you guys joining us as well. Now, before we get to that, if you guys are joining us live, make sure you guys like the video. Make sure you guys subscribe. We hit 20,000 subscribers today. Gadiel is joining us. He just got the pump. He's feeling swole right now. So make sure you feel like Gad.
I'm in a
Like the
bat
video.
cave right now, man. Sorry to interrupt you. It's so dark.
You're
I'm sorry.
good.
I didn't anticipate it being this dark. I apologize.
Are you wearing
Coming in like the
shades?
Batman, coming in from the alleys. But
He's definitely in the bad cave right now.
My
yeah, I
car.
mean, they're on the. I mean, we've heard Miss Shepard called you Spider-Man before, so maybe Batman's not too far off, you know. But we can roll with this. So make sure, like I said, you guys, we hit 20,000 subscribers today. Make sure you guys are subscribing to the channel. Make sure you guys are liking the video, and then make sure you guys, if you're young and if you're with a young and with a family, make sure you guys stay protected when it comes to your financial assets. Give Mark Brown PA a call, right? Give him a call at 954-866-8513. Or go to markbrownpa.com. That's marcbrownpa.com. Like I said, he services the entire North Lauderdale area. So if you live in South Florida and you want to make sure somebody takes care of your financial estates, if something were to happen to you in this crazy world, give your Mark Brown PA a call. Like I said, 954-866-8513. And he's a Heat fan as well. So don't give your business. I always say this. Don't give your business to a Celtics fan or a Magic fan or a Lakers fan. Give your business to a Heat fan. He likes the Miami Heat. Give Mark Brown PA a call. Now, if you want to talk about some daily fantasy, you want to go to prizepicks.com. PrizePicks is your home for daily fantasy. You're going to go in, you're going to choose if you're going to think their players are going to go above their points, rebounds, assists. So let's say somebody has 5 assists. You think they're going to have more? You bet the over. If you think you'd have it less, you bet the under. You pick a couple players. If they get them all right, you make some money. And you can have a little bit of a risk assessment there. So you can have one wrong with the flex play, you still can make your money. Use the promo code 5. Match your deposit up to $100. Go to prizepick.com for your daily fantasy. Guys, we came off of a win last night against the Trailblazers that I did not expect us to get. Although Damian Lillard did get injured in that game, Miami was playing great up until that point. He was a -10 during that game, so it just showed how good Miami was clicking on the offensive end last night. It's something that I didn't expect to see at all, but Jimmy Butler only wanted to talk about one guy, and that was Caleb Martin, right? And Caleb Martin did his thing last night. I think he missed just one shot, had 4 steals, excellent on the defensive end. He showed his defensive versatility. With PJ last year, you had a guy that can kind of sink down low and guard the big and kind of guard up a little bit. With somebody like Caleb Martin, you can stick him at the point of attack. You can stick him on the wings. You can stick him on a 4, and he's there, and he can cover a bunch of positions. So I think we saw a little more of the defensive versatility from Caleb Martin last night. So I want to talk about what you guys saw from Caleb Martin. Mateo, I'll start with you on this one. Outside of the scoring, of course, what did you like from what he did yesterday?
Well, Jonathan, you really hit the nail on the head talking about his defensive versatility. Last night, he was targeted 13 times on that end, and the opponent only scored on 4 of those possessions. The defensive field goal percentage was only at 30. That is excellent. It's technically unsustainable. I would love for him to be able to keep it around the 40% mark going forward, but Caleb is looking like a worthy starter at this moment, and what also impressed me was his pursuit of the rebounds. 4 of them were on the offensive end, and I'm usually very high on players who can keep the ball active and the possession rolling for the team. But that's what I liked.
Yeah, what else did you see?
I think, in addition to what Mateo said, I think the point of attack defense is something that he excels with. I think they should start using him more in that fashion. Someone who sticks on the quicker guards, maybe the other team's best guard, and let Kyle guard the wings. Because Caleb might be he might be the best point of attack defender on the team, save for a fully healthy Victor Oladipo. But Caleb's point of attack defense, he was wreaking havoc. Like, that was a Jimmy Butler type defensive performance by Caleb Martin. The luxury of having another wing on the team that can do that is huge. I don't think we'd gotten that type of defensive performance from anybody else so far this season. So to see that, I loved it. I think the point of attack defense is going to be huge again tonight on trying to slow down Steph and Poole, and I mean, really just those two, because they're the only ones breaking defenses down. But I think Caleb's going to be big again tonight defensively if the Heat are going to win.
Yeah, and to your point, Golden State is one of those teams that don't really have too many true bigs, right? They're a little bit smaller, and that's the type of teams that Miami really thrives against. They're small teams that we can switch against, that we can throw multiple players against different types of styles, and Coach Spo can really just go in his bag and see who he wants to put on who. So, Timmy, I'll go to you on this, and we'll switch it up a little bit. Obviously, it works well against smaller teams like we saw last night in Portland, and maybe even tonight in Golden State. Is this something that's sustainable long term across everything?
No, and this is why I hope we could make a trade sooner than later because I love what Caleb brings, but I do not want him to get burned out. Like his one of his I guess his good attributes is the energy, the quickness. But if he has to bang for an entire season, you don't want All Star break because we said last year after All Star break he canceled because of the Achilles. And part of it was, this is the most minutes he's ever played in the NBA. So his body was getting adjusted to this high level back and forth as much minutes. But now we don't want All Star come again, and his Achilles is flaring up, and then we get a half of a Caleb because like if you look back at the numbers last year, Caleb looked like really not fell off, but slowed down a lot after the All Star break. 2 games here with the Achilles, played the game, didn't look himself. I love it. It's excellent for the smaller teams like the Blazers, like the Warriors. And it's so ironic. I watched this last night. It used to be the East would play small and the West would play big, but seeing so far that the East are banging, and the conference, whereas when the Heat go out West, it's actually it fixed their style more. So the West trip might actually be what we needed. But what I'm most excited about is that Deadman might not play, and you might get more Nicola. That's what I'm excited about tonight.
He might not
Yeah.
play.
No, yeah, the plantar fasciitis in his left leg is acting up. So I think as a precautionary, we need to rest him for the season. We don't want this to become something that's career threatening for him. Have Dwayne Desmond rest for the entire
Look out
season.
for the mechanic. Look, that man has a wife and a child. We must take care of him and rest him for the year. He has
Put the
left
player
children.
first. Put the player first. I 100% agree. I 100% agree.
So
that's the type of organization the Miami Heat are.
Get this offensive foul off my screen. Get this moving pick off my screen. I don't want to.
I actually just looked at my shoulder just now from the pick just now. It was bad.
I'm surprised he wasn't there for 3 seconds. I'm not gonna lie. I'm surprised.
Usually he tends to sit in that paint a lot longer. But let's get into this. Let's get into the way Miami played offense last night. Gad, we talked about the Tyler Hero band pick and roll, how Miami should be running the offense from that kind of action, work through that action. Last night we saw something different. We saw Jimmy Butler in the post, and then I want to give, of course, Brady all the credit for this because he broke this down. Check him out, Brady Hawk 305 on Twitter. But he did the film breakdown talking about having Jimmy in the post and having players just move off him, right? The off-ball movement, having just actions work around from there. Have Jimmy create a mismatch, and once you have that mismatch, then work off that action. Is that something that is a long-term plan for success, or maybe something we can add to the Tyler Hero band or the Hero band pick and roll as far as staples in this offense?
I think it takes a unique type of defender to take that away from Jimmy Butler. So when you've heard in the past, like, hey, teams that play big, like size bothers Jimmy, which size bothers every player, but that's besides the fact. Someone who can match Jimmy's strength and size is someone who can actually kind of keep them from getting to that offense. But you saw last night, Jeremy Grant, not strong enough. Josh Hart, not tall enough and not strong enough. Everybody else on the team, either not strong enough or not fast enough to keep up with Jimmy. So he's been their best mismatch hunt guy. They've done a really good job with that in the past. It's just last night they were abusing it because that the Portland Trailblazers, for as many wings as they do have, their guards are not defensively versatile and they do not match up well with Jimmy Butler. So I think Golden State actually is one of the teams that does match up a little bit better. I think Draymond and Wiggins do pose a problem for Jimmy. So I don't think we'll see as many post splits and actions revolving around Jimmy in the post tonight. But I think it is something they could go to more often than not. Like that is one of the ways in which they could truly go small and impose their will is have Jimmy be your post player and have everyone else move around him. And that can change the game a little bit in addition to the hero band pick and roll that we all want to see.
Yeah, and I think tonight, like you said, they really have 2 stout defensive players. I mean, they're probably going to start with Andrew Wiggins on him, who is a really, really good defensive player. And then you have Draymond on the back end, which you'll see probably some Draymond on him, but I think Draymond's probably going to match Bam when it comes to minutes. I think they'll probably match each other. Mateo, continue with the offensive as far as Jimmy out of the post, and do you think that's a long-term plan for the Heat's success? You're on mute,
You're on.
My bad. I don't think it's a long-term plan. I think it's one of those perfect in case of emergency break glass type of situations because a heavily reliant post offense eventually becomes too stagnant and predictable. Like Gad said, usually players who when an offense starts going to this, they usually try to throw a longer defender in the post to bother the person with the ball. I think it's a good option to use, in case of an emergency, but going forward, not too much actually.
So, Timmy, you talked about having Jovic in the lineup, right? Obviously, if no Dwayne Dedman is here, you got to give Jovic those minutes. And he does something in which we saw in the continuing with the Jimmy post, right? He gives Jimmy space, and then he's also somebody that we see can make plays as well. He has the playmaking ability. So if Miami's going to lean offensively, how do you think Jovic adds to this lineup?
And I watched the entire game yesterday. I still can't tell you how the Heat won. Like I watched it, it shouldn't make sense. Like it should not make sense. You have Nurkic being defended by Jovic, and it's like I mean, he got like maybe 1 or 2 points on him, but like they couldn't get him the ball. But you mentioned perfectly. I compared it to maybe a young Turkoglu. Like he's not just a shooter. He's not just a floor spacer. He can make some plays off the dribble. And he'll catch up eventually, but you have to get the reps. And if you're going to be, losing games or at least like playing weaker defenders, you might as well get in your first round pick, who could be the perfect for next to Bama, as we like to say. Um, Especially against the Warriors, where that bench is just about the same age as Jovic. Like get him out there. So like I say, if you have him with Bam, he can space the floor. If he's in place of Bam, maybe he do some high pick and roll with him. He could pop. I don't mind him even just sitting in the corner with a Tyler Bam pick and roll. Like it's just so many things because you have to respect him. When Devon's in the court, I watched when Devon almost should have got a call for like 3 moving screens. I watched them just completely ignore Devon last night. But when Jovic got in, like the player would not leave him. Like he's a rookie and they understand this man could shoot. So just I think it should have been the second quarter, and we were in the group like we just were so frustrated. Like the offense looked horrible, 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 and Jovic didn't do anything specific, but just his presence alone added dynamic to the offense. Like no, because if you do a pick with Deadman, he's gonna get called for a foul or roll or throw up a three. When Jovic get in the game, either he doesn't keep still. He keeps moving. He keeps active, and just that little wrinkle adds some more dynamic to the offense.
And I think even with the ball in his hands, just seeing him with a little bit more ball in the hands, just so we can see him as the playmaker. Obviously, he's young and he has a lot of time to develop, which is a good thing. Gad, what else do you want, or what else did you see from that game? Obviously, it's his first game in the NBA. He picked up a couple fouls. He has a young body. He's still developing. He's still growing into himself. What positives can you take away from what he did his last game?
I think the main positive, the instant he checked into the game, the offense looked different to what Timmy was alluding to. He can move a little bit, but they instantly respected his threat from 3, which is something that teams have never done with any of the bigs over the last 2 years with the Miami Heat. So he is kind of playing that Kelly Olynyk spacer role where maybe he's not going to be the most productive player, but he's going to help open things up for other players. So when he came in, Jimmy and Tyler got going to the rim, and that made a big difference. That's one of the aspects of the offense that they're going to need, because if those two are not getting to the rim, the offense is very east-west, and it is not pretty in the slightest. Yeah, like there's ruts where you're going to say, oh, wow, we took 8 threes in a row and we only hit one of them. And like that's when teams are going to go on their runs against Miami. So I think just having someone who helps the offensive flow a little bit better is what Jovic does now. Now, we can talk about his development long term and how he can end up dipping his feet in all these different ponds of skills that he has. But for the time being, I think it's really just someone who can draw the opposing big out of the paint and go from there until we see him play with Bam, which we have not seen much, if at all, throughout the preseason and regular season. But that archetype of player is going to be very valuable in the half-court setting for the Heat.
Especially if we're deciding to build long-term, and once the Jimmy's window is passed, right? Jovic is somebody that if we have locked up and it develops in the system and it continues just to raise his ceiling, it's like he really can become an elite player, in my opinion, on the offensive end. Now, switching tunes to Golden State, right? Mateo, they're 4th in points per game. They're 2nd in assists across the league. We know that Miami has a tough time guarding the pass, right? Because they're really good at matching up defensively, but sometimes just over like getting to the rotations, it's too quick. The ball will always move faster than the person. What do we have to do defensively to slow down Golden State tonight?
Well, Jonathan, when they're taking the ball up court, if it's Wiggins, Curry, or Poole, I would suggest throwing out a full court press, maybe a 2-2-1 zone to limit as much time they have on the shot clock to get a good opportunity behind the three-point line. Their motion offense creates a ton of good looks, which they are not making, by the way. They're only 18th in three-point percentage at this moment. But in the half court, when Draymond is on the floor on the perimeter, he's really looking to be a playmaker. I would concede some space to muck up some driving lanes for cutters and the ball handler who's looking to get to the hoop. Also, right now, the Heat are going to have to work hard in this game defensively, but the Warriors might shoot themselves in the foot. They are giving up 57 points in the paint in this game, and it's not just because they're getting beat in the half court. They're not making as many triples as they usually do, and that's creating break opportunities. That plus their rate of turnovers. They're losing the ball 16 times a game. That's creating a lot of open shots on the break for the opponent. And so right now, they do not look like a team that won a championship a few months or a handful of months back. So I think the Heat are in a good spot. This should be a very even matchup tonight.
Yeah, I mean, to your point, defensively, they're 30th. They're ranked 30th in defensive rating right now. Like, they're not a very good defensive team, and Miami needs to take advantage of that.
Realized I thought it was like 27. They're 30th.
30th in opponents' points per game. In opponents' points per
Timmy,
game.
No, I
Timmy,
thought
let
it
me
was
put it in perspective for you. Chris Paul almost had a triple-double against them.
Oh, yeah.
Kyle Lowry, your number is being called right now. We better see
Hey,
something.
I know we might be out of time, but can we talk about the Lowry quarter? Can we talk about that?
Yeah, go ahead, break it down.
I was ready to like. I actually was about to cut the game off. I was like, I can't watch this for the second half. And I saw he hit the three from the corner. I was like, okay. And so what do you guys think? Was it because Dame went out? Was it because they are not a good defensive team, or do you think Lowry has got fed up with us? Like, but it was a good sign. But I'm not gonna fall in love with fool's gold. I don't think we'll see it too much often.
I think four of the 3-pointers he made were catch and shoot, right? And I think only one were spot up shots, right? So I think using him in that more action is probably a little bit better. Gad, I saw you had your hand raised. Go ahead.
Oh no, I was gonna say. I thought you were gonna say one of them was pull up, but for some reason NBA.com registered one of them as other. I don't really know what that means.
You put the stat right. You're the one that put the stat up. So
if anyone knows what it means, I would love to know what the NBA defines.
It definitely wasn't a pull up because I watched the game. It wasn't a pull up.
Yeah, no.
So.
But to Timmy's point, I think I want to see more catch and shoot Kyle. I've been wanting to see that basically since he got here, honestly. I think the days of him breaking down defenses and him initiating the offense and him being the lead creator for a team are over. I think you can lean more on Jimmy, Bam, and Tyler to do that more often. It's sometimes Gabe, although they're at a similar level of playmaking, in my opinion. Like Kyle still has some juice there. It's just not going to be consistent, not something you want to rely upon. So if he can just space the floor effectively, he's doing that well, 47% on catch and shoots this year. Lean into that. Like, I need him to probably be the volumes floor spacer and more so I want to see Tyler space the floor too, but I want to see Kyle do that. And I want to see Tyler kind of get more of his 3-level game going. So if Kyle can do that, I think that helps the offense a lot. And it's kind of his saving grace as to being a starter in the NBA.
Yeah, like I said last game, it's good that we had these growing pains early in the season. Like, I'd rather have these losses earlier, so now we can make those changes. And now maybe an adjustment, like Gad said, just taking him off the ball, making him a catch-and-shoot player, that's just much more effective for him. Mateo, we'll get you started here on the rapid fire. Right now, Klay Thompson shooting 28% from three, averaging just over 11 points per game. Tonight, over or under 14 points for Klay Thompson?
I'm going with the over. The last game he played was his first ejection, and he was only shooting 1 of 8 from the field. He walked off the court talking some trash. I think someone like Klay Thompson is going to back it up, so over.
Timmy?
Sadly, Kerr just said that Clay's minutes and Draymond minutes are going to go up. So, of course, he waits until when they play us. Yes, of course. He can wait till the next game. So definitely take the over. Clay is definitely going to go over.
Yeah, last game against Portland, Miami had 6 players in double figures. Tonight, over or under 4 players in double figures?
4 players?
Yes, over. Last night we had 6. Tonight, over or under 4?
I'll go over 4. I think they probably get Jimmy, Bam, Tyler. I think Duncan has a good game. Is that 4?
That's 4.
Damn, that's a good question.
You need one more. to over.
I'll say
Caleb,
TBD on the
Caleb,
fifth one.
Caleb.
Caleb getting 10, I could see it. I just don't know when to project a good Caleb game. He kind of just appears. I don't think it's like a matchup thing. He kind of just does it. But yeah, I'll say over. I'm confident they score a decent amount of points tonight.
Mateo?
I think they all do. Yes, I like those players. Tyler, Bam, Jimmy, Caleb, and did I just say four? Did I say four?
That's 4. You got one more.
So you know why I think we get at
Bam.
least
All right, Bam. My bad. Excuse
you
me.
know why I think it's at least 6? Because remember now they played the Kings in game 2, and the Kings had 71 points at the half, and we have more offensive dynamic than those guys.
Oh wow.
There you go. So Timmy, I'll let you actually let us get it started on the prediction. So give me your predictions and give me your keys to the game.
This is going to be a high scoring game, and I actually feel much better against the Warriors than I do against the Blazers, and I felt horrible against Blazers. Like I fully expected the Heat to lose last night. But just like I said last night, we gotta keep the turnovers down. Like I said, we got up to 7 turn. Jovic is a very lucky charm. The Heat was up to 7 turnovers, Bam with 3 fouls, Devin with 3 fouls, and Jovic came in, and just everyone got freer. So maybe it is the cement shoes of Deadman that has the Heat playing so slow sometimes. But I think with a defense like the Warriors, not really just their playing style, but with the defense they currently employ, the Heat will play a bit faster and a bit freer. And like Ramadan said, we've having some growing pains. I think Larry is getting used to now playing off of Hero a bit and picking his spots and not, I like to say, experiment too much with these passes. So I actually look forward to, and I think Mateo said it's going to be a pretty even game. And it's going to come down to the stars, Jimmy or Curry, and I just hope that Killer could, bother Curry enough to give Jimmy a chance to win the game for us.
Yeah, and like Miss Lynette said, insurance by Lynette, of course, free plug always. We love Miss Lynette here, so check her out. Her defense is better, right? So this is something as well to what Timmy alluded, having Caleb at the point of attack, starting him on somebody like Steph, and then maybe when you have a Draymond switch onto him, okay, now Draymond is on, or now Bam is on Steph because you had Bam on Draymond. So you create that 1-5 switchability there, and Caleb on Draymond is a little bit of a mismatch when it comes to maybe down low in the post. But defensively, when it comes to him just trying to make plays, I think no better guy to play off the ball from Draymond and try to guard those lanes a little bit better. Gad, break down what you think the game's, or break down the keys to the game tonight and give me a prediction.
In regards to all the switching that you just mentioned, I think one of the players that I'm worried about is Kevon Looney. If he's able to get that switch, he's one of those dudes where he's a really, really good rebounder on both sides of the ball, offensive and defensive glass. He's good there. And he can also, he can get the ball in the basket in the paint, but he creates extra possessions for them. That's one thing that I'm worried about. And I'm also worried about Clay having a get-right game. I feel like Golden State is overdue for one of those games where the Chase Center, what used to be Oracle, is just popping. And they have like 5 threes in a 3-minute span, and the crowd is going crazy. I think Golden State will start hot, and then Miami will make it close near the end. But I think Golden State ends up winning the game. But I think we're not going to be feeling too bad about a loss tonight. I think there's going to be a lot of silver linings in this one.
A loss on the second night of a back-to-back, it's always tougher, right? Though the record on the second night to a back-to-back is always negative, no matter what team it is. Like, it's tougher just to win on the second night. You don't have your legs. And like Gad said, if we have to make a run to catch back up in this game, are we going to have the legs to finish and close it out to get the win? Mateo, what do you think is going to happen tonight? Give me some keys to the game. Mute, buddy.
My God, I'm so sorry again.
No, he's on the board tonight.
My gosh, I'm going with a Heat win. The only 2 teams the Warriors have beat are the Lakers and the Sacramento Kings. Those are not good squads. Now, we mentioned a moment ago they're giving up 124 points a game. I think it all starts with the point of attack defense. The Golden State Warriors get too cute with the ball, so I think if the Heat are very active tonight, switching and just bothering the ball handler, they're going to have a bunch of transition opportunities. And right now, the Warriors are giving up over 20 fast break points per game. So I think if they're very active on the defensive end, that'll win them the game.
Beautiful. Now, when it comes to my keys, I think we're gonna see a very important. We're gonna have to have a very important game from Gabe Vincent as well, right? I think him coming in, just bothering Steph, bothering Jordan Poole. Like he's somebody who can fight through screens, stay in front of you, and like most of the time not foul. Like so, he's one of those guys that's just a pesky defender. I think Gabe Vincent has a really really big game tonight. I think Jimmy, what we saw last night, I think we'll see a little bit more of that. But I think we'll see a little more of that hero band pick and roll as well. I think we're gonna try to do as much as we can to just get the defense moving for the Warriors because they don't have a lot of plus defenders. They have two great defenders, and then Kevon Looney off the bench is pretty solid as well. But Jordan Poole, Steph Curry, Klay Thompson, not great defenders, right? So these are things that Miami can take advantage of. And if they're going to try to switch things as well, Jimmy can create his mismatches. I do think Miami wins tonight. I think Miami showed last night or kind of unlocked some doors last night. I think with what we saw and the things we can do offensively, I think just tonight will be a little bit more free flowing. I think if we have Jovic in, we're going to have less of a negative with Dedmon with the addition by subtraction, right? So I think Miami gets it done tonight. I think, well, there you go. Donut Dan with a key. All starters got less than 30 minutes last night. Rest shouldn't be that big of an issue. So thank you, Dan, for that. I appreciate that. So I think Miami gets it done tonight. I think it's a surprise win. And I think after tonight, we might be talking about things a little bit differently than we were 2 games ago after starting off 1-3.
If
Now,
we
make sure
win
you guys
tonight,
as
sorry.
well. Go ahead.
If we win tonight, we're winning the title.
It is stamped. If we win tonight, we're winning the title because we beat the last year's championships. So
And I'll
go.
go a step further. If we lose tonight, we're still winning the title.
There we have it. Now, make sure, like I said, if you guys are watching live, make sure you guys like the video if you think Miami's going to win. If you don't think they're going to win, comment, let us know why you don't think they're going to win, right? And if you also are not subscribed already, make sure you guys subscribe. If you're not, have your financial assets in order, give Mark Brown PA a call. That's marcbrownpa.com and give him a call. I'm pulling up the number right now. There it is, 954-866-8513. Also, go to prizepicks.com. Use the promo code 5, that's FIVE, to double your deposit up to $100. Manny's going to have the post game from last night's game after this. Thank you guys for watching, and let's go Heat.
From 5 Reasons, welcome to the second part of the pregame show tonight. We're going to go ahead and now listen to all the players and their exposure about what happened in Game 5 of the season, their second win, blowout against the Portland Trail Blazers. Here we go.
So this is what the Miami Heat can look like. How good did it feel to see it come together on both ends and the way the team looked?
Yeah, that's probably appropriate to say that we put it together on both ends because we've been doing some better things. I mentioned that the last 2 games you saw our activity level go up. And even last game, some of the ball movement you saw tonight, that was there in that loss against Toronto. Really moved the ball, shared it, and we just missed a lot of those opportunities. It was nice to see us be on the other side of the transition game for once, this season. But there was a lot of activity, throughout the course of the game, either defensively making multiple efforts, which they're a very challenging team to guard. I mean, obviously it was different when Lillard went out, but they can move you around and they play fast. We had those efforts in transition. We were disruptive defensively, and then we had 15 offensive rebounds. So I think as Pat calls it, the big muscle areas. We did much better across the board on both sides of the floor in those areas.
The imprint of Caleb. It's tough to be 7 for 8 and yet make a bigger impact from a defensive standpoint.
Yeah, if he didn't score one basket tonight, he was going to be the player of the game regardless. His activity level, taking the challenge on, they're 2 great, guards that your pickup points have to be so much higher on both those guys than typically every night. And then even when he was switching, and had Nurkic in the post, he just used his speed and his quickness, his disruptiveness to really turn it into an advantage for us. It felt like he was the Matrix out there. It felt like he was in a bunch of different places at the same time. And then he just made some plays in transition, and I thought he played within himself, but the activity was really contagious for everybody else.
Jovic getting his chance. Now, I know they were fouls, but just your thought about getting a chance to get him in there and at least getting that first taste.
Yeah, sometimes that's just the way it goes. Sometimes, when you have to be ready so you don't have to get ready, well, you never know when your opportunity is going to come. But he's been putting in a lot of time. He still has a lot to learn, but the guys, they encourage him. They see his skill set. They see how he could help. It was good to have him out there when we were playing well. So you can see the possibilities, and hopefully we can just continue to build on that.
And going back to him in the third quarter, obviously, was there something that you liked in the first half and the appearance, even despite the fouls?
There are some things offensively where we can move them around, and when they went to their small lineup in the first half, that hurt us. It was a short stretch, but he's mobile. Even though he did foul, a lot of those were Lillard pick and rolls. I mean, he's going to draw fouls on your best defenders. Nico will continue to work at it, drill at it, but I thought we were able to manage that smaller lineup, in that second half a little bit better with him out there.
Thoughts on Kyle beyond the shooting?
Yeah, I mean, look, it's all about winning. With Kyle and his impact, he's selfless. So, we still have to develop some continuity, even though we've brought a bunch of guys back. That the starting lineup is a little bit different, and we like the direction it's going. But that doesn't mean it's going to be just everything is great. You got to work through some things. We have some firepower. We have a lot of guys that can. Do a lot with the ball in their hands, and that just takes a little bit of time. All the little nuances sometimes can knock players out of rhythm. And Kyle is such a giving player. He just wants everybody to play well. So sometimes when you're trying to set everybody up, sometimes that just takes you a little bit out of rhythm. And tonight I thought he was assertive on his catches, and he did it with the ball in his hands, and he did it with when other guys were making plays, and he was knocking down big shots. And that, again, I've said it before, that's part of his greatness as a player. He knows how to impact the game in a lot of different ways. Defensively, he was also very good. I love seeing him when he's the low man down there, amongst the bigs and the trees, and it's like 3 yards in a cloud of dust, and he ends up with the ball in his hands. He's extremely disruptive, on the weak side defensively.
And Max's ignitability, and what he did for the second unit, that you had that nice flow. He came in, he sparked you also.
Yeah, and that's the word I use with him and quite a few guys. He knocks down one, and he literally feels like he just knocked down 7. So it's not like he hits 3 in a row. He just needs to see one go down, and that's where that ignitability happens. But he did a lot of other good things too. Defensively, he's really good on the glass. He's in the right position quite often now, and he's getting better. Putting the ball on the floor and making some plays as well. But his minutes with that second unit was really inspiring. They really took control of the game in the second half.
6 guys in double figures, but nobody over 20. Is that the kind of offensive point distribution?
Yeah, the 33 assists and the ball movement. But again, you have to stay process oriented. We had a lot of those possessions in the Toronto loss, and we did not, to be fair, we did not execute well going down the stretch. But we had a lot of these things happening really for the last 3 games, and so sometimes you just have to stay with it, trust that you're doing things the right way, and then eventually the basketball gods reward you for playing the right way and sharing the ball. That's how we are. We're not, a ball dominant with one guy getting a 40 usage. We're at our best when there's a bunch of different weapons putting a lot of stress on the defense where you don't know where it's coming from. All right, thank you.
We talked a little bit this morning about how you guys are going to have to deal with this backcourt. It is
flammable when it comes to scoring. Simon's in foul trouble early, late. You don't even have to deal with Dame because he's got the ankle. What was the key, though, early on to make sure that they didn't have the explosive nights they could have?
I think we just try to put pressure on them as soon as the ball came into play. Just try to pick them up 94 feet, try to turn them, get their legs a little tired. I mean, they're both, like you said, both explosive scorers. So, you know, you do what you can, and the best thing you can do probably is just pick them up and try to get them a little tired. You know what I mean? So that's what we try to do collectively.
Career high 4 steals for you. How big was you all? Just your presence on defense, the deflections, the steals, and even the half-court game.
Yeah, I think I just try to come in and just bring energy, you know what I mean? I think that I watched last game, and I think towards the end down the stretch, I think that we were maybe getting a little fatigue or whatever it was. So I just try to come in and bring that energy and, you know, just try to give guys like Jimmy and Tyler and them a break on the defensive end to keep giving them that energy offensively so they can, you know, get it done.
Not just a needed win, but a blowout win on the road against a team that hadn't lost. How does that hit with the team?
I mean, we're just looking for a great start on the road. I mean, the West is tough, and like you're saying, you got guys on, you know, coming back-to-back games with Steph and Dame, and like you said, Simons, those guys, they can put the ball in the hole. So we just try to get off to the best start we could, and knowing that we're going to go into a tough one in San Francisco.
We talked a couple weeks about you guarding fours, but how much do you enjoy the mix of assignments? Obviously, some guards, some forwards. Is that something which you really relish?
Yeah. I just love, you know, to be able to be versatile. I love different looks. I love being able to go in and try to get stops on bigs and then go up there and guard the point guard. So, you know, I just love the challenge, man. So anybody who's their go-to guy, and including their bigs or whatever I can do, man, I just want to be all over the place. So I just want to, you know, try to be disruptive as possible and let that lead to the offense for other guys.
And with 4 scores in the lineup, I guess obviously that doesn't have to be a priority for you. What makes you satisfied offensively? Is it just to hit open shots when they come to you?
Yeah, pretty much. I mean, I just do my job offensively. I know sometimes it's tough to get in a rhythm because of my role and because we have so many great scorers on this team. I know that it'll be nights like that, and I know it'll be other nights where it doesn't come my way. So I just got to be ready, and whenever those opportunities come, just be ready to knock down shots. Appreciate y'all.
First of all, you guys wanted to correct a lot of the transition game. It exploded for you all tonight. I think it was 29 to 14 in fast break points. How much of that has been an emphasis? How much of it rolled out on the floor today?
Our point of emphasis was getting stopped. That was really our main focus. We haven't been playing hard enough on defense to get the stops we want so we can get out and run. So we were able to do that. Our defense was solid today, and that led us to getting out and running transition.
To start the season, you have quite the scoring anomaly, as you'll have 20 and then a 2 and then 20 and then 6 and then tonight almost 20. Anything to it, or is that just basketball?
No, I just stink in the other games, so I should probably hopefully be more consistent from here on out. So that would be a good thing for me to be more consistent. I don't want to keep going up and down, but I'm just going to take whatever the defense gives me, and each game is going to be different. So.
I feel like anybody in here was panicking with the 1-3 start, but how nice is it to get on the road and the very first opportunity in the hardest place to play on the road, you guys get a victory?
Yeah, no, this set the tone for our road trip. So we needed a win in the worst way, and to get one like this to start off our road trip was huge. So hopefully it propels us forward, and we can finish out this road trip solid.
Yeah. Never hurts to get the dub at the head coach's hometown either.
Exactly. Yeah, a good one for Spo. Thank you.
Really got you guys going and really blew this game open. I know you guys have been talking defense, you know, basically since the season started. Was that the key trigger for you all?
Definitely played a role. I think it's easier for us to defend when we're making shots too. We have to set defense. Obviously, you're playing off misses. It's easier for the offense to do that. So we were getting back, limited their transition, which is what we wanted to do coming into the game, and it was successful for us.
33 assists on 44 made buckets. That's a ratio you can live by, right?
Yeah, that's the way we like to play. I mean, that's the way we want to play, and the way the game should be played. So we followed our game plan, and it worked.
You don't have a guy that had a ridiculous scoring night, but you had 6 guys that scored at least 16. You were knocking on the door of a double-digit night. Balanced offense, I mean, that's the weapon to get to 119. Usually it's a 1-2 guy that had 30 or 35, but this is the way you all do it, right?
Yeah, I mean, we're not like every other team in the league, I think, you know, and I think we're at our best when the scoring is diversified and we got everyone being effective and cutting and scoring in different ways. So we got a lot of big games from different guys tonight, and it might be somewhat different tomorrow night.
does this one land with you all, victory-wise, in the sense of being at home, dropping 3 or 4, but starting off the road trip against a team that's undefeated in the hardest place that any team is trying to win, and that's a road game, but you all get it.
Yeah, hopefully it just propels us for the rest of this road trip. You know, I mean, we have the goal of winning this whole road trip, and that's one win down, and we got to get another one tomorrow night and another on Saturday. So we're just taking it one at a time. Yep, appreciate you.
I mean, it's okay. They told me that's going to happen. I'm a rookie. I'm a new guy. Of course they're going to do that to me, but it's all right. I'll get used to it.
Any nerves at all? I mean, you've played obviously enough overseas where I don't know that would be a factor.
I was nervous a little bit, I felt comfortable through the preseason, but first regular game, it was a little nervous, but it's okay. Now I feel great.
Did you hear clearly when Spo called for you to come up, or sometimes you don't hear it?
I was like, me? Yeah, and then it was all right. Yeah. Yeah, it was nice. I missed the first one that I tipped it in. I'm like, yeah, it would now be good if I missed this.
Congratulations, bud.
Thank you, sir.
And now to finish our pregame session tonight, let's watch the Brady Hawk film dive on the Jimmy Butler adjustment and the Miami Heat offense taking off against the Portland Trail Blazers.
So the Heat took down the Blazers last night. There was a couple different storylines that led to this win. I thought Max Strus was really big, just specifically keeping the offense afloat early in the game. Caleb Martin probably had one of his better games this season. They moved Kyle Lowry a little bit more off the ball, and he was capitalizing on catch and shoot threes. There was just a lot of different elements from different guys, and obviously the defense stepped up much better, specifically from the second quarter on, where you'd want it. But there was a specific shift in the game, I'd say, when rewatching it, was how Miami just chose to run offense pretty much to get things going. Because in the first quarter, we were having the same discussion. There's no movement. The offense doesn't look good. How are they going to figure this stuff out? And they pretty much said, we're going to put the ball in Jimmy Butler's hands specifically as a post-up threat. Part of that was kind of the dictating the new minutes with Nikola Jovic, which is another topic as well. But I'm just going to showcase what they started doing. So this is in the second quarter. They started we know they run post splits and mid-post sets for Jimmy all the time, but they don't spam it in this way where they're saying, this is going to be our home base. Like, this is going to be what we want to get to most. Right here, they're running things just to get a little bit of movement. Jimmy's backing down the smaller Lillard. As you see, they're going to have to help down off of Max Strus, and he just pulls up and he hits it. And like I said, he's the reason they kind of kept them afloat with those type of shots, just being ready, pulling up, being efficient. It changes things. And like I said before, this is the Nikola Jovic minutes. It means there's a little bit more spacing. I really like this lineup you're going to see right here with Jovic, Jimmy, and then you have obviously Kyle, Tyler, and Strus. Like, Jimmy actually has 4 spacers around him. It makes it so much easier for him to attack, but it also makes it easier for him to play make when there's just not just that looming center just sitting right under the rim because they know that one guy can't shoot. So pretty much an inverted action right here with Jovic, which is something they could expand upon moving forward. Maybe they can give him some pick and roll reps just to play make a little bit. But it's a quick feed inside to Jimmy. You're going to see them start to move a little bit. He just gets inside. He ends up getting the foul on Winslow. Just pretty much being aggressive in that mid-post area to kind of spark some offense. So that was the second quarter. Now we're moving into the third quarter, and you're going to see where they took a few of those possessions and pretty much made it their offense in the second half, and this is where they pretty much took off. Right here, you're going to see Jimmy on that strong side over there. Tyler's going to be the one that's going to insert it to him. He's in that high post area. He's just going to hit Caleb Martin right inside. As I go back one more time just to showcase what the defense was thinking. Tyler looks like he's going to set like a flare for Caleb to just shoot inside for maybe like a handoff from Jimmy. So he pretty much slips it. Caleb slips it, and it's just an easy bucket. Those are the post splits that we talk about that are just so important for Miami, especially when it's Jimmy running it and not Bam. Bam can be the weak side threat that can crash the boards, that can catch and playmakers score on the opposite side. When you're working it through Jimmy, it's just more comfortable and it's just better looking in general. Right here, he's screening for Tyler to come up off the top and trying to force a switch of some kind. They fight through. Now Tyler gets it. He's into the varsity action, the Tyler Bam pick and roll. Like, these are all elements you want. You want Jimmy screening for the smaller guys to force mismatches. Then you want to revert to a Tyler Hero Bam pick and roll. So this is the offense you want. Now he's going to come off of it. They're just kind of containing. He hits Caleb. Now it ends up in the Jimmy post up. So now it's like right when he catches in that post up, all eyes go to him. It's like, okay, what's going to happen now? Because Jimmy can absolutely destroy us if they keep going to this. While he does that, he doesn't hold it for long as I go back and show it in real time. Tyler's basically going to shoot over the top off this screen from Caleb. He's just going to shoot right here. Great look. Right here, he just missed it because there were certain points of this game where he was just kind of off the mark a little bit. But that's a great look. Like, that is the offense you want to see, the movement, the execution, and everything along those lines. Now we're going to fast forward a play or two, and we see something similar. He just screened for Tyler to shoot off the top. Once again, the same exact play. Tyler's going to run the same action. Tyler bam pick and roll. Gets the ball out of his hands quick. Now Caleb's trying to play make right here. Ends up, you're going to watch Kyle. As I said before, his off-ball kind of movement and control in this game was really big. So as I go back, you're going to watch Kyle right here as Caleb puts a little pressure on the rim. Jeremy Grant gets kind of lost ball watching. Kyle moves without the ball to kind of find that slot. Ends up hitting a three. But what we're seeing is that they're basically, the Jimmy post-ups are kind of working the offense in this way. That he's the one that's getting people to move. He's the one that's drawing eyes. He's the kind of guy to make this all run in a way, which is what they've needed. And there's a couple more of them to showcase right here. This is now about halfway through the third quarter. This was pretty much like a 2-possession, 3-possession run where they didn't go high post Jimmy to play make. They went low post Jimmy to punish. Like, they were basically saying, okay, you want to put Anthony Simons on a switch on Jimmy? Well, we're going to make you pay. So right here, gets it inside. They're helping down. So what does he do? He kicks it out. Once he recovers, he says, let me repost. Give me the ball back, and let's work this again. Goes right inside, goes over the top, and he gets a little floater inside the lane. Like, that is what you want to see. Next possession. We don't want to – the Portland's game plan is basically we don't want Jimmy doing that again to us. So they get the switch again. Now he goes to operate, face up, gets into the post again. You're going to watch Nurkic being all worried. He's going to just kind of run over to Jimmy to try to make that double. And you see Grant pushing down to make the kind of a triple team from trying to stop him. Jimmy actually hits Bam on the cut and ends up in a dunk. So the offense looked a lot better in general, but I'll say I think the underlining reason was Jimmy post-ups. Like, the way they were able to do this and work the offense, it's something that's intriguing moving forward that I think they're going to get a lot.